I'm Shelby.
I'm Paul.
And we are two of the owners here at Lost Lake. And we have a lot of rum and a lot of tiki drinks and a lot of garnishes. So we're going to show you how to make some of our favorite garnishes and also answer any questions that you have. So we can see your questions on the side and we'll get to those in a little bit. Let's introduce ourselves.
Sure.
So go ahead, Paul.
So I'm Paul McGee, and I've been bartending since 1989 and grew up in Houston, Texas, where I worked for a seafood restaurant for a long time. Moved to Las Vegas, where I worked in a lot of casinos and bars and restaurants.
Including a pool bar.
And definitely including a pool bar, where we had some frozen drinks out there as well. So ended up working with Wolfgang Puck Fine Dining Group for a few years prior to moving to Chicago in 2008 to help open up the Whistler in Logan Square. And the Whistler was the first time that I ever did a tiki night back in 2011. We decided to do a cocktail book club, and one of those book clubs was Jeff Beachbum-Berry's Sippin' Safari. So that kind of kicked off the whole tiki revival in Chicago. And this is my partner, Shelby Allison.
I began my service industry career in Las Vegas for Wolfgang Puck Fine Dining Group as well. And then in 2008, we came to Chicago together. At the Whistler, I helped launch Cocktails 101 and the book club, which of course is where we started doing tiki nights together. After that, Paul left to help develop 3 Dots and a Dash, and I started a PR company with a friend of mine, and I worked with lots of cocktail bars here in Chicago, including 3 Dots and a Dash. In 2015, we both left our respective careers
Sure.
and opened Lost Lake, which is where we are now.
Yeah, we opened January 13th of 2015.
Yeah, which is also our anniversary.
Also our anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
A little bit about Lost Lake. We are a tropical tiki bar in Logan Square, which is, of course, the best neighborhood in Chicago to eat and drink in.
Yes.
We make classic tiki cocktails, and we make original tiki cocktails, and we make lots of classic rum cocktails as well.
We are big lovers of rum here at Lost Lake. We have over 275 different rums, and it is tough for us to keep that number at 275. It's very easy to keep bringing in more stuff.
Yeah. One of the things that makes Lost Lake different from other tiki bars is that we really are trying our best to channel Don the Beachcomber's original 1930s cafe. So we kind of eschew some of that like Polynesian motif in lieu of tropical flora and fauna. So we have a lot of parrots and pufferfish and palm trees and flowers, and you'll see that reflected in our garnishes and our mugs. Since we've opened, we've won a couple of awards, which is cool. We were Imbibe Magazine's Cocktail Bar of the Year this year, and we were a semifinalist for a James Beard Award for Outstanding Cocktail or Beverage Program, which I think is the first time a tiki bar has ever been nominated for that.
Yeah, for
oh,
sure.
Sorry, Martin, if you have, I don't know. You got Best Bartender.
Yeah, I think we've gotten some accolades this year, but yeah, we have a really amazing staff here at Lost Lake, and everybody who comes to work is like just in such a great mood and dresses tropically, which we'll cover in a little bit about. Kind of part of the garnish is the uniform and the clothes that you wear and how you accessorize yourself.
Yeah. So let's talk about garnishes.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about some classic cocktail garnishes?
Yeah, we can talk about that. I think one of the things that really differentiates tiki cocktail or tropical cocktail garnishes is the the more is more kind of approach. So whereas when we're making classic cocktails like a Negroni or an old fashioned, we're trying to be a little bit more minimal, where there's not 3 or 4 ingredients or garnishes in the glass itself. Usually you're just expressing some oils and then discarding, and it just has a much cleaner look.
There's nothing frivolous.
There's nothing, yeah, exactly. There's nothing frivolous in that.
Nothing for you to take out and put in your hair.
No, not at all. So that's the fun thing about tiki, is that it is really over the top. You really have to commit to doing something that's completely different from your typical pre-prohibition cocktail era bar. So one of those ways is to actually just go overboard with the garnishes, which actually makes it a lot of fun, but also makes it a lot of work too. And
so, of course, anytime you want to talk about the history of anything tiki, you look to Jeff Berry of all of the Beachbum Berry books, and then also now New Orleans Latitude 29 Tiki Bar. So, you know, we would encourage you to buy Jeff's books if you'd like to know more about the history of Tiki Garnishes. But I think the first person that we always look to is Harry Yee, who, of course, invented or was the first to use the paper parasol.
Yes. And of course, we found out that due to that first night of doing the Tiki Night at the Whistler, you know, reading Jeff's books gives you a great background of history of Tiki, and again, the whole genesis of a lot of these cocktail garnishes, such as Harry Yee's paper parasol that you see ubiquitous in all kinds of drinks, not only just tropical drinks, but then also the back scratcher in the tropical itch.
Yeah, truly a useless garnish.
Truly.
But is it?
Or,
we'll talk about that more later. Okay, so we can show you a little bit about Lost Lakes garnishes. So we have here a lovely array, if you can see them, of what we use at Lost Lake. So we have our inorganic material here and our organic material here. So we have lots of paper picks. We have adorable little fans and sails, big fans. We have these little lanterns, which you can see here. We have, of course, flamingos. And we have the standard classic custom swizzle.
Gotta have a custom swizzle.
Have to have one. And then, of course, the aforementioned paper parasols.
Thank you, Harry.
We also have some little, we like to get little crazy, like we have these little claws. These make good umbrella holders. And then we have all of our organic stuff. So we have the classic orchid, cocktail orchid. We have nutmeg, cloves, coffee, cinnamon, orange, cherries. We have the flaming hull, the flaming lime hull, which of course we've had a question about and we'll get to. And yeah, those are all Lost Lakes garnishes. Well, not all of them.
Not all of them.
Yeah. Part of a garnish, we think, is the mug that it's served in. So we have traditional we have some traditional mugs. Maybe not traditional, but kind of Lost Lake traditional.
Yeah, we have the
Monk Tiki pufferfish. We have Monk Tiki's
little seahorse.
Seahorse.
With a pearl diver, which we found in a cobalt blue.
Classic ceramic coconut. And I think that if the purpose of a garnish is to really make this cocktail look different from a classic cocktail, then the glassware definitely plays into it. The reason why we use inorganic materials in our garnishes are because we really think that you taste with your eyes first. So you look across the room and you're really thirsty and you've been here before and you kind of know what to expect and you see the tray coming towards you. The very first sip you take is with your eyes, and it's a big mug, colorful mug filled to the brim with all kinds of stuff. And yeah, so that's the first sip you take. And the prettier it looks, I think the better it tastes.
Of course, of course. No one wants to look at a brown drink or a gray drink or something like that.
Old fashioned.
Gross.
So
I didn't say that. But yeah, I mean, again, that's part of the allure is like when you go to other cocktail bars or other restaurants, you'll see something going across the room and there might be that, ooh, what's that kind of moment. And then it triggers this whole like chain reaction of all these drinks being ordered. Whereas every drink in a tiki bar should have that wow factor and really kind of say, ooh, what's that? Or I can't wait to start drinking that.
Do you want to talk about why we use these organic material garnishes?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's very important to have fresh ingredients as a garnish as well, because we are using fresh ingredients here. We are using fresh lime juice, fresh lemon juice, fresh grapefruit. We're making all of our syrups in-house. We're doing fresh pineapple, which can be a pain. But we want to kind of mimic that freshness in the glass with our freshness of the garnish as well. Also, there's aromatic choices that we make. The orange garnish that we use, the peels that we express over the drinks, I think it really plays well with passion fruit. So it kind of accentuates some of the brightness of the passion fruit by expressing some of the oils from the orange, and then also putting that orange and using that as part of the garnish as well.
Do you want to talk about the proper way to interact with a mint garnish?
Sure.
The proper way is not to pluck it out of your drink and toss it on the table.
Oh, right. Yes. So a lot of times, mint is a garnish that's not really, it's very important to the cocktail. So especially a Mai Tai. A Mai Tai, that straw is supposed to be buried into that mint so that you get the aromas of the mint while you're drinking the cocktail. It's not to be thrown on the floor. It's not to be jammed at the bottom of the glass, but you're actually going to get a lot more of the mint flavor by having your nose being buried in the drink.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about how we prepare garnishes and we have 2 full-time employees that come in every morning at 9 a.m. and make banana dolphins and make
I mean, that's
peels?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have a prep team that not only takes care of the juices and syrups and those kind of things, but they have to prepare the garnishes for us as well. So we go through so much here, even though Lost Lake is not a very large bar. I mean, we take care of 85 people at a time, but we can still do over 700 cocktails on a shift. So on average, that's about 100 banana dolphins that get made ahead of time. So we do go through a lot of that, but it also takes, as you'll see a little bit later, you'll see that it does take a little bit of time to do that. Also, the lime holes might be one of my least favorite things to ever do. And we go through a lot of those as well. So yeah, there's a lot of prep that goes into it. Several hours a day of just prepping.
And then you designed our bar to be a garnish machine.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of space dedicated in the well to garnishes. We've set it up so that I have a 36-inch bin and then a 12-inch bin on the other side. So the 36-inch bin will carry all of our ice that we use for the drinks. We use both cold draft and crushed. And then in the other bin is just crushed ice that has deli containers of pineapple crescents, cherries, orange peels, lime holes, mint,
flowers,
pineapple leaves, orchids, all those kind of things. Kind of in our, so we're not opening up a door and having to dig through. Everything is at our arm's reach.
And everything is chilled and fresh.
Yes.
The entire shift.
Yes.
So when we write a new menu and we are developing garnishes for each cocktail, we have some rules and guidelines that we follow. Like Paul said, when there's passion fruit in a cocktail, we'll be using an orange peel, expressing the peel, and then making it into a fun shape. So like this flag or a rosette. And that will sit in the drink, and then the aromas interact with the pineapple or with the passion fruit ingredient and accentuate that. And then if there's pineapple in a cocktail, we'll use either, not either, we never choose either. We use all of the garnishes. We'll use pineapple leaves and pineapple crescents. And then if there's maraschino in a cocktail, we'll be using cherries.
Yep. Very expensive Luxardo cherries.
But delicious and worth it. And then if there's cinnamon, we have cinnamon syrup in a cocktail, we'll use a whole cinnamon stick as a garnish. We have usually a cocktail with coffee, and we'll usually put a few coffee beans on top of the cocktail to give that a little bit more of a coffee aroma. And then, of course, if we happen to have a cocktail with a banana in it,
you got to put the banana dolphin.
It gets a banana dolphin.
Thank you, Yaroslav. There's a Russian guy, Yaroslav Panov. That
your Russian is so good.
It's so good. I'm fluent. So I guess we traced back the banana dolphin to this gentleman who actually has an app on at the App Store, the Apple App Store, where you can find, it's called The Bartenders, and he has a bunch of different garnishes on there. I don't think the banana dolphin is actually on that app.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get it for free here.
We learned how to make it on YouTube from our bud Brian Miller,
Yep.
Tiki Pirate in New York City.
Tiki Mondays.
New York. Yes, Tiki Mondays with Miller in New York. Look it up. I think it's happening quarterly now. But yeah, I think that actually when we made the banana dolphin for the first time, it was like just for a photo shoot. And then our very hardworking servers and bartenders decided to take it upon themselves to make that the actual garnish that went in every drink that has a banana. So that was an accident, but
I think that's important too. A lot of times we'll come up with a garnish, and then one of the other bartenders or servers will trump that garnish and make it their own, and it turns out to be way better than actually my garnish. So
so that goes back to the formula.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So with the organic garnishes that we use in conjunction with particular ingredients in each recipe, we also so each organic ingredient that's applicable with its corresponding garnish will get that garnish. But then we also ask everyone to put two to three garnishes extra. So always the bendy straw.
Yep, always a bendy straw, and then
everyone has their own little way of doing the bendy straw. This is my favorite.
I usually tie mine in a knot. I like the knot.
We also have the swirl, or then sometimes even the crazy knot, which is not a knot at all.
Or for a group drink, you can actually intertwine a couple of different colors of straws. I know one of our bartenders is a huge Green Bay Packers fan, so it's always green and gold. So
we were making mocktails for an expectant mother the other day, and we were swirling blue and pink together. There you go. And then, of course, on top of that, we add our swizzle, which is a piranha. And that's because we have a piranha tank in Lost Lake. We have 2 evil piranhas. And then we'll add something paper. Always something paper. An umbrella or a flamingo or a fan. And then if it's a large cocktail, a sharing cocktail, we like to add some fire.
Yeah, some kind of element of fire in there to make it a little bit more exciting than some of the others. We do it for the larger formats because you usually have a bigger bowl that is less dangerous to, if it's a smaller glass, you don't want to necessarily put fire in there because it could come dangerously close to your beard or eyebrows, maybe.
Yeah, you worry about the beard part. Less people worry about that.
True.
Let's do some how-tos.
Okay.
Let's do, since we were talking about the banana dolphin, should we do that first or save it for last?
Let's save that one for last. Let's go. Let's do the Lonely Island Lost in the Middle of the Foggy Sea first.
Okay.
So
this is a cocktail with rum agricole.
All right. Wow, there happens to be one already built in this tin. Make fresh for you now. Rum agricole. We have a blackstrap rum. We have fresh pineapple juice, lime juice, cold brewed coffee, a little bit of demerara sugar. And now we have the option of the Lonely Island garnish, where we can either do our island which is made from a pineapple wedge, or a cutout of the pineapple wedge using your OXO jigger. Just kind of like makes a little cutout. And then from there, we are going to place an umbrella, which Shelby has. What are we going to use today, Shelby? Do you think we're going to do?
In this case, we're going to make a palm tree.
Oh, okay.
So
a palm tree on the island.
On the island. So this one's pretty easy. It's just a little time consuming. But just cut out these little triangles, preferably of a green parasol. And then your island. And then, so then we're going to take a cinnamon stick, and there's your palm tree. And you can put your palm tree right on the island. And then we add a few coffee beans, our little people.
Do a little bendy straw.
And of course, an orchid. And so that is our lonely island lost in the middle of a foggy sea.
So good.
It's so good, and it tastes better because it looks so cute.
It looks so cute.
So Charlotte, hi Charlotte.
Hi Charlotte.
She wants to know if there's any fun tricks with the nutmeg. My favorite use of nutmeg is on the banana daiquiri.
Yeah.
We use a cocktail, or we use a tiki mug. We use the Tiki Joe from Tiki Farm, which has its little tiki bob face. And it has this handle area where you hold it, but it kind of acts like a little beach. And I like to put the nutmeg on top of the banana daiquiri, and it looks like a sandy beach.
That's great.
Some people definitely do a lot of lighting of the things on fire with nutmeg, but for those of you who know what the last few months of our life at Lost Lake have been like, we've toned the fire down quite a bit.
Not that it had anything to do with it, but yeah. Karen Grill wants to know, how much is too much in regards to garnish? Is that even possible?
Karen, great question.
I don't know that I mean,
it's possible.
It's definitely possible. You can get too much.
If it makes drinking the drink impossible, I think that's when it's too much.
True.
We always try to put our garnishes in the cocktails. We use bamboo picks like these to try to like anchor them together so that as soon as you take a sip, everything doesn't fall out on the table. But as long as things are staying in the glass and they're not prohibiting you from getting every last sip, I'd say it's fine.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't want it to be silly. Like, I don't want to put like a Hot Wheels car or something like that, like floating on top of a drink or I don't know what a live fish. I don't know. Yeah, you want to make sure that it makes sense for the drink too.
Yeah, even if it makes just a little bit of sense.
So this was a really important one. I want to go down to Mari. Mari's question is, how much does Lost Lake garnish affect cost of your cocktails? That's a really important thing to bring up. I think, obviously being in more of a neighborhood that we are here in Logan Square, where we get a lot of regulars that live in the neighborhood, we wanted to be very cautious about pricing our drinks too high so that it is just a special place for somebody to go once a month or once a year. So we wanted to make sure that we had some options in the bar that were lower cost that had less garnish. But to answer your question, we have about 75 cents to $1 into each drink that we do.
And we give our bartenders a budget.
Yeah, we let our bartenders know the cost of everything so that they're thoughtful when they are garnishing a cocktail, so that it doesn't have 3 things in there that are 25 cents and then in addition to that, you have a 50-cent inorganic piece in there.
Yeah, the orchids are the most expensive garnish.
But it is true. I mean, our liquor costs are a little bit higher because of the garnish is factored into that cost.
Yeah. Let's make another drink.
Okay, cool.
Let's do a Saturn.
I've got the Saturn ready. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. For the Saturn, we have gin. Again, this is another recipe from Beach Bum Berry's vault. I believe he found the recipe for this drink on a glass at a thrift store in Southern California. And,
Good find, Jeff.
Great find, Jeff, because this drink is absolutely delicious. So we have gin, passion fruit, lemon, orgeat, and falernum. And we're just going to top it with a little bit more crushed ice.
Also, since our fire, may we add, our ice situation has not been very cute, so you bear with us. So for the Saturn, we made a little garnish that looks like a planet setting on the horizon with little moons around it. So we take a lime hull like this, and then we take some picks like this, and we stick them through, just kind of sticking out a little bit. The little knots at the bottom of the picks are going to provide a nice anchor for the garnish in the ice. So you have these.
I'm pretty sure this is an original garnish.
Yeah, this is mine. This is my garnish. Welcome to my garnish. And then we put these little moons, these little cherries on top. And here you have a little setting planet. Maybe some more ice.
Yeah, I can put a little bit more ice in there.
So there's our setting planet, our Saturn. And then, of course, we have a straw.
And because it has passion fruit, maybe we put a little bit of.
And then, of course, we need our paper garnish. This one's a favorite of mine for the Saturn, or for Aaron Hayes' cocktail, Saturn in the House of Saturday Forever, which is a gin and rum Saturn riff. We'll put that so that we have a whole galaxy of garnishes inside of our Saturn. Cute. Travis wants to know, there are a lot of random ingredients involved in tiki. Any tips for condensing storage for syrups, juices, glassware, mugs, and garnishes? Storage is definitely a challenge.
Especially now that, yeah, post-fire right now.
Post-fire, we're 50% capacity.
As far as condensing storage for syrups, juices, glassware, mugs, I know it's pretty tough when you're just a standard cocktail bar that wants to do tiki every once in a while, or to do a tiki drink. Yeah. Because it is so specific, and you have to have
being able to design your own bar to accommodate all of the syrups and garnishes gave us a leg up.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, a lot of times, people would come in even before I started doing tiki nights at the Whistler back, in 2008, 2009, would come in and ask for a zombie. And it's like, it was very difficult to try to wrangle all those ingredients up, and also, have the proper rums and the rum blend for that as well. So, Travis, I wish I could be more of a help to you, but all I can suggest is making the syrups and making your garnish as tight as possible and in smaller quantities. And then having just maybe a few really great tiki mugs instead of just getting a ton of regular stuff.
Before, when we had a big walk-in, before there was a fire in our kitchen, we had a big walk-in, and we were able to make syrups once a week, and we had really big carboys, which held like
5-gallon carboys.
Yeah, and then they were all lined up and with spigots on them for the barback or prep person to easily fill. Now we make syrups more frequently because our storage is much diminished, but we put syrups into delis that hold about 750 milliliters. Yeah. So they're easy to fill during service if we run out. But yeah, and then as far as the storage goes, really, because our garnishes are 50% fresh and 50% paper, we have metro shelving downstairs with everything organized and labeled so that it's easy to find and quick. And then same goes with our storage. Everything is in delis and with day dots and easy to find. But for the paper stuff, really just keeping good inventory of it and ordering frequently is kind of how we do it.
The thing that does help, and I will say this, like, it does help having a lot of paper garnishes because they don't go bad.
Right.
Whereas you can get 1,000 orchids, which we go through almost about 3,000 orchids a week, and sometimes you'll open up that container and they don't look great, or they're spoiled, or we're in Chicago, so maybe these sit on the truck a little too long and they get frozen in the wintertime and then they die. So yeah, it's something to kind of balance where I would say that if you weren't doing tiki on a regular basis, I would go with more paper garnishes for things like that.
Yeah. And then just stay organized. What are some of the best places to find or buy tiki garnishes / umbrellas and swizzles, etc.? I'm going to tell you what, there's a great history of secrecy in tiki, so you can Google it.
Do the work. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, yeah, I mean, some of these things are pretty hard to get. A lot of them come from China, and yeah, just not easy to procure. But yeah, we'll make that part of the fun for you to do all that legwork and find all those cool long straws and everything like that.
Kind of a similar question, but a recommendation for sources for inorganic garnishes. Oh, it's the same question. You'd be surprised. I will say this: you'd be surprised what your party supply store has.
Yeah,
and also Restaurant Depot.
Yeah, your local Restaurant Depot or party store. Karen Grill has another question.
Karen, so many questions.
How many of the cocktail ingredients on your menu is batched for service? So that's an excellent question because a lot of times, tiki cocktails will have 9, 10 ingredient touches or ingredients in the cocktail. So one thing that we do here to expedite service a little bit, go ahead and batch our base spirits. So if our zombie has 4 different rums, we'll put 4 different rums, we'll batch those together and then bottle those. We do not batch any liqueurs or syrups or citrus or anything like that. You just lose control over the cocktail at that point because you've already committed to the citrus and the sweetener already being batched. So if someone's like, hey, I like a cocktail that's a little bit drier, can you make that drink? I just had it. Can you make it a little drier this time? And you're like, oh, well, everything's batched, so we really can't do that. So this still allows you to have the control over the cocktail. And we've noticed that by batching our base spirits that it doesn't compromise the flavor of the drink at all. And
things can get a little muddy tasting when you put them all together.
Oh yeah, when you put all the ingredients of the cocktail together to batch, yeah, it does get a little muddy. The only exception to that is our frozen drink that we do in the frozen drink machine, which is a Frosty Factory. We have, and again, it's one of our most popular cocktails. That and the banana daiquiri are 2 most popular cocktails, and that's with coconut, 2 different types of rum, and passion fruit and lime juice. And that we do batch together with our coconut liqueur and put that all together in the machine. But other than that, everything else is a la minute. But yeah.
Let's make another drink.
All right, let's make another drink.
Let's do, let's do a mystery gardenia.
Okay, great.
So the mystery gardenia is a great example of a drink that is shaken and served in a coupe but can still get garnished elaborately.
So the mystery gardenia is a spiced daiquiri, really. It's got our rum that has been infused with butter, vanilla, allspice, cinnamon, and clove. and we fat wash that. And then we strain that off. And then it's a daiquiri from there with a little bit of honey syrup and lime juice with Angostura bitters.
And so for the garnish, we're going to take a very elegant pineapple crescent and tuck it right inside the glass. And then with a paper or a bamboo pick, we're going to just allow it to sit right on the edge of the glass. And then choosing an orchid that has a nice tight little stem on the back, tuck that right through there and have it sit right there. And that is our mystery gardenia.
And that's one of our more minimalist garnishes, but I think it goes really well with the glass and the type of cocktail that.
The other thing is if you wanted to turn it up a notch, Paul, since you asked.
Tell me how to turn. Can you tell me how to turn it up a notch?
You can exchange the
bamboo
pick for a paper flamingo.
Oh, wow.
And then still a flower. So there's it turned up a notch. Cheers. Does Lost Lake do any flaming grogs?
Why, yes, we do. I mean, we we can make pretty much any cocktail that is flamed tableside. We do that typically in the winter time. We do it with coffee and the fresh spices, but we are a little bit yeah, a little nervous about that at this time. But yeah, we're gonna revisit that again this winter. This is a question: are you guys using an immersion blender? Is that for the sake of this video, or is that a normal practice at your bar? So excellent question. So this blender that we have over here, it's a Hamilton Beach. So the is going to be our stick blender that we use for mixing our cocktails. One of the things about Tiki that's great for older bartenders such as myself is that there's a little less shaking and a lot more buzzing going on in the Hamilton Beach. So what that does is that actually will aerify the drink. So if you notice, the first drink that we made was the Lonely Island Lost in the Middle of a Foggy Sea. That had a nice froth on it, and that was because there was fresh pineapple juice in it. And instead of shaking that drink, we use this high-speed drink mixer, which actually has a little bit on it that aerifies the ingredients in the cocktail. So using crushed ice, we buzz for about 3 seconds versus a 10-second shake if you were going to do this traditionally. But it does expedite service quite a bit because it does take a lot of time or a little bit longer time garnishing the cocktail and actually building a 9 or 10 ingredient drink. So where we lose time in that aspect, we pick it up with the Hamilton Beach drink mixer. And you can get, if you don't want to spend the big money on this one, if you're making these drinks at home, there's an excellent version that's about $40 on Amazon that is not really for commercial use, but fun to use at home. And we use it on some offsite events that we do as well. But they don't hold up as well, but they do the trick.
From Lance, do you use spice mixes to dust the outside of the glasses? And if so, what are some of your favorite blends and methods of application?
We actually don't use spice mixes to dust the outside of the glasses. We predominantly will have the ingredients inside the cocktail. So there's no dusting or rimming or anything like that going on.
Let's make a banana dolphin.
That sounds great.
So to make a banana dolphin, you need only a few things. You need a banana, and you need some cloves. So yeah, you need a knife also. You need a couple of pineapple leaves, and then you need a couple of cloves. So the first thing that you do to make a banana dolphin is you take this little nubbin. Well, the very first thing you should do is Google a picture of a dolphin so you know what you're doing. I've seen a lot of really weird looking dolphins. So you cut off the little nub, leaving it with its spout or its nose. And then I like to just take the knife right where the end of the mouth would be, stab it down, and then drag it out. So now you have a little mouth, and it should open pretty wide, enough to put a cherry in there later. You'll also make some fin holes here, one on the top and one on the other side. Add some eyes right outside of the mouth. And then you'll add these little fins. So we take the tinier leaves off the side of the pineapple, cut them down a little bit. And then put them right in the dolphin. And at this point, I think we'd like to shout out my Keisha Jones, our prep woman who makes hundreds of thousands of these dolphins.
Yearly, yes.
Yearly. Okay, so then we're gonna make a banana daiquiri. So first, Paul, do you wanna do the daiquiri?
You can cut off the bottom and then...
So one of the things we do to anchor this dolphin in here is that we cut the bottom of it off. And then we take a coffee stirrer like this and unceremoniously jam it in the bottom of the dolphin, and that helps it to sit upright in the glass. And then we also add a little cherry, a little beach ball. So there is our dolphin.
All right, and I will make a Bunny's banana daiquiri. So this one we're going to use our Vitamix blender. And I happen to have already had the ingredients in here. So we have our fresh coconut liqueur that we make in-house. We have our rum blend, which we'd use 3 different rums for this. And then we are going to, last but not least, add an entire banana. That's going to really give it the nice texture. And then to this, we're going to add 2 cups of ice. Again, it's really important for us to measure the ice that we put into the drink so that we're getting the right dilution. It's so delicious. This drink was created 2011, I think, was it?
Yeah.
We were at a friend's lake house celebrating Shelby's birthday, and we decided to make some banana daiquiris for some reason, and we finalized this recipe on that trip. So that's why it's called Bunny's Banana Daiquiri. So it has 3 different types of rum, and then we have our house-made coconut liqueur, which again, there's really not a good coconut cream out on the market that's fresh. So we decided to make it with fresh coconuts, coconut water, rum, and sugar. And that gives it the creaminess and also some of the fresh coconut flavor. And then a daiquiri has lime juice and a little bit of sugar. So we used a little bit of demerara sugar in there as well. And then drop a nice ripe banana inside, and there you go.
Yeah. And so this is one of the cocktails that we use nutmeg for, and that was the little sandy beach that we were talking about earlier. Lance has an interesting question about one-way drinking straws. So he says, do you ever use one-way drinking straws for your large multi-sipper drinks? I've never been able to get around the backwash reality, which is invariably a turnoff for me, especially since I know where my USBG
oh, wow.
fellow guild members have been.
Nice.
Well, no, we don't. And it's part of the fun. A little danger for you.
Yeah, no, I don't know that I've seen too many.
There's a lot of sharing that happens at Lost Lake.
I think that's part of the fun about tiki is like this is truly a genre of cocktail that
communal in every sense of the word.
Of course. Yeah, it's okay to do that. Whereas you would never have 4 straws in the same drink, or not never, but usually you wouldn't see that in a classic cocktail bar.
So sorry. So Lance, the answer to that question was no.
We just let it go. We let it fly.
Pick better drinking mates, I guess. 3-part question. What's your favorite Aloha shirt? Are there any plans for a Lost Lake book? And when can we expect a tiki night at Milk Room?
Oh man, that's so many good ideas.
So many good ideas. Thanks, Eric. Paul, what's your favorite tiki shirt?
My favorite tiki shirt.
Well, first I would say that you don't really wear Aloha shirts.
No, luckily there are plenty of new designs out on the market. One of my favorite tiki shirts is actually a Gitman tiki shirt that's nice and thick that has a bunch of ripe bananas and unripe bananas on them.
Which is great for us because we usually make dolphins out of unripe bananas
True.
And blend the ripe ones.
True. So that's one of my favorite.
It's your good luck shirt too.
Yeah, it is a good luck shirt. And for a book, not right now. And when can we expect the tiki night at Milk Room?
I think that's a really good idea.
That is a really good idea. So for those of you who don't know, Milk Room is like a tiny 8-seat bar inside the Chicago Athletic Association Hotel. And we make cocktails with very rare spirits or unique spirits. And I think that is a really, really great idea to do. One of the things I wanted to do was do a Mai Tai on the next menu at Milk Room. So this might be a really interesting night to do all high-end vintage tiki drinks using, we could make Jungle Birds with old Campari from the 1950s.
Oh, yeah, that would be delicious.
That'd be cool. I've got some old Cuban rums that we have. I have some British Royal Navy rum as well. So,
well, and I'll say that when I see cases of vintage booze come through, where they come through, which we won't talk about, but I usually snatch out the rum for us here at Lost Lake. So we also have a growing collection of vintage spirits. Come get your Milk Room drink over here.
So Juan had an interesting question as well. So how is the cost of the cocktail affected by the cost of the tiki glasses when breakage occurs often? Any policy when clients break these tiki glasses? So I think when or before we opened Lost Lake, there was at the other tiki bar I worked at before, there was a lot of theft with the tiki glasses.
Tons of theft. Someone even tried to walk out with a
treasure chest.
A
50-pound wooden treasure chest, so that they bought it downstairs as they were walking up the stairs. They're like, no, I paid for this. It's all good. And that did not happen. But
I think we have way less theft here.
We do.
Like tons left.
Yeah, actually, we just got a letter in the mail yesterday from someone who took one of our menus, and our menu is a die-cut piece of plastic that looks like a banana leaf, and they felt so bad about taking it, and I think they took it a long time ago. And as Shelby says, this might be some kind of like 12-step program that they're going through that they might have to try to. Anyway,
they sent us a $10 bill
and a letter
apologized.
and an anonymous letter that was addressed to the bar manager and said, "I'm really sorry, but I stole one of your menus when you first opened, and I feel really bad about it. And here's $10."
So thanks to this anonymous person, and I think that you're a great illustration of maybe what kind of clientele you get based on where you are in the city, how they respect you as a business owner, your property, and how they like to bring their manners with them when they come to see us at Lost Lake. So we love our Lost Lake goers.
Yeah, for sure. But honestly, we don't have a lot of breakage on the glassware. We have some
our employees break just as much as our guests.
Well, that's true. And also to mitigate some of the loss, we do sell the mugs as well. So
LostLakeTiki.com, buy your shirts and your mugs.
Swizzle sticks, you name it.
Swizzle sticks.
So yeah, you can throw your own tiki party.
Yeah. How do you prevent the banana dolphins from turning brown too quickly?
So again, we try to use for the garnish itself a little bit of underripe bananas. So they might not taste the best if you're gonna
give you a tummy ache.
Eat the dolphin at the end.
Don't eat the green ones.
But yeah, we use the nice ripe ones for the actual drink, and then for the garnish we use the underripe. So we actually go through. We order 2 different bananas on each produce order. So one specifically for the drink, and then one's for the garnish.
And then the leftover dolphins, we don't usually have leftover dolphins, but when we do, they become blending dolphins.
They become the next day's drink dolphins.
This person is asking, there are a lot of crushed ice used for tiki cocktails, but what are your thoughts on pellet ice?
So we
love
pellet ice, and even better, not better than the pellet ice, but we've also used the Hoshizaki cublet ice, which is a little bit denser, a little bit bigger. But yeah, I mean that's our choice that we like to use. We feel that
we don't really like crushed ice in the traditional sense of the word.
Not truly crushed ice, because it's too thin. It gets wet too quickly.
Inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So we use a Hoshizaki cublet ice machine that makes little bitty cublets, similar to a Scotsman. I also like the Scotsman pellet ice.
Any tips for doing crushed ice domes? So that's not something that we've been able to execute at the level of volume that we do here at Lost Lake. I've seen people make them with a hand lime press, put the crushed ice in there and press it, and then you get a little cup. I guess that's more of a cup. When you turn a cup upside down.
I think you can see that in some of Jeff's books. He'll talk a little bit about the ice cones and the ice shells. But also you can buy the ice cones from cocktailkingdom.com, and it's part of the Jeff Berry collection, the Beach Bum Berry collection. So those are really great. They don't really work very well with the pellet ice or the cublet ice. You have to crush it a little bit further, so you need a little bit of a finer ice for that to really be great.
Someone says Chow Tai brand dried coconut cream powder is a good product, especially when combined with sweetened condensed milk. Very Indonesian feel, like a dessert. Great tip, thank you. One thing that we are super duper proud of here at Lost Lake is our Lost Lake coconut liqueur recipe that we make daily, and we'll guard the recipe with our lives.
Yes.
I won't even print it on my tombstone.
But it's made with fresh coconut. And there's really
no substitute for fresh coconut.
Sorry, Coco Lopez.
Do you use grain-based orgeat, and if so, what are some of your favorites?
Actually, no.
I've never heard of that.
No, we've only used almond and macadamia nut here at the bar, and the macadamia nut is great, and really the orgeat that we use, the almonds that we use for the orgeat, the best stuff we've ever gotten was from actually Whole Foods, and
nice almonds.
Just great almonds that have a little bit of
almonds.
They had like a little bit of a floral note to them.
Yeah.
They were really delicious. Do not use any rose water or orange blossom water in our orgeat.
What type of ice do you use with the blender?
So we still use the cublet ice for the blender.
And I would like to say that we have an excellent blender. We splurged and we got a Vitamix. We make so many daiquiris, so many banana daiquiris. You need the nice one.
It hasn't failed us yet.
And what kind of mint do you use?
We use spearmint. So we use that most of the time. It comes from Colombia. This has been a problem for us as well. In doing high volume tiki, you have to make sure that your flowers are fresh every week, and that your mint game is strong, and your leaves are nice and big and hearty, because it just does fall apart in the drink. For more on mint, though, you can Google Charlotte Voisey and Peter Vastinos mint method of keeping your mint fresh.
Yes, the Vestinos method. And then I had got one question on on Instagram, which was, which garnishes make the best hair accessories after you finish your cocktail?
Oh man, I witnessed just 2 yesterday that were pretty inventive.
Can I put this in your beer?
Sure.
I don't know. What do you think? That's cute.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfect. Cute. That's perfect.
It can go here too.
I saw the I saw, you see a lot, obviously you see a lot of the flowers, but then also I saw the
oh yeah,
the flamingo.
Yeah,
I saw that in someone's hair. I don't have any hair to put back in there, but it was
another question from Instagram: why isn't anyone importing the hanging umbrella lanterns?
Oh,
no,
man.
Really. This is
Yes.
This is something that we saw on Facebook recently in a discussion, and I don't know. Honestly, a truly devastating loss during our fire at Lost Lake was I had a box of hanging lantern garnishes. I maybe had 30 of them, and they were to be saved for when Beyonce comes to visit us at Lost Lake one day, and they were burned in the fire, and that was really sad because I cannot get any more.
You know what? The best thing about inspiration for tiki garnishes, return to Jeff's books. Potions of the Caribbean has some great illustrations in them of old tiki cocktail menus and tiki cocktails, and you get a great idea from there about the hanging lanterns, which you can't find anymore. But really, Jeff's books, and actually finding on eBay or whatever some old vintage Don the Beachcomber menus or Trader Vic's.
Yeah.
They always have some really good illustrations on there. You can get some great ideas from that.
can recreate most everything if you take the time to work out a system to do it.
True.
One more question. In addition to the industry standard edible orchids, what other tropical flowers do you like to use to garnish your drinks? I really like marigolds. They're very sturdy. They last all night on the bar. And then pansies are pretty, but
they don't hold up as well.
Pretty much orchids are the workhorse.
They are.
We're going to leave you with one more garnish, and that is a boat.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about the boat.
So to make a boat, you're going to want to take a lime hull. You'll need 2 of these little sticks. Oh, we got to put the flags on it first. Sorry. So you'll have lemon peels, which you can make little flags out of, or sails, I should call them. There's one sail. Will you hold that?
I'll hold that for you.
And then another sail. 2 sails.
One ship.
One ship. Use the excess of the little length of the bamboo pick at the bottom to anchor it into the ice. And then you have a little boat.
There you go.
Pretty cute. It's pretty cute. And then, we had one more question about the flaming garnish.
Oh yeah, the flaming garnish. So I believe that Martin talks about this in his new book, which is Smuggler's Cove. And so he uses a high-proof lemon extract as the fuel for the flame. And we use the just a high-proof rum. We use at Hamilton's 151 proof rum. We just take a piece of toast, just a piece of bread, just toast it, and just stick it right in there. And then we'll pour some Ed's rum in here. Just enough to douse it.
Ed, your rum burns bright. What's up? What's up with your rum? And then there is your, can you see it? There she is. It looks better at night in the dark.
It does.
Thanks for coming to our Google Hang.
Yep. We hope to see you at Lost Lake someday.
Yes, and also Paul and myself, along with our bar manager, Aaron Hayes, Scotty Shooter from the awesome Tiki Bar in Paris, Dirty Dick, and Mindy from Holly Pele in Portland will be hosting a seminar at Tales of the Cocktail this summer called Pumping Out Paradise, the Secrets of a High-Volume Tiki Bar. And you will get to learn even more of our
all
secrets.
the secrets.
Except our coconut liqueur recipe.
Yeah, no coconut.
Okay. Thank you.